Greetings, beautiful souls. This is Bevan Neiman Cortez, the Soulful Gardener, just bringing you into my homestead here in Creel, Mexico. Perhaps you can even catch a faint strain of my neighbor playing some Mexican music, they have a lot of crooners here, just crooners, and it's just amazing. I love it. I love it. But what I wanted to talk to you about today was this willow tree, and it really caught my eye when we first moved in, for a variety of reasons. First of all, it's kind of broken at the top. You can see these branches are like cracked off, dry. We've had a drought here, of course, in Creel. The other thing is just the positioning of this tree. So, when you plant a tree, it is sort of a long-term commitment, right? And you want to make sure that it is planted and rooted in the right spot. So you can see here, this is our driveway, and right next to the tree is this big, inclusion of stone, just pushing up from the ground. And yet here we are, right here. So we also have pavers here. So anytime anyone comes into the property and comes here to park, they are literally driving over the root system, which is compacting the soil. So willows don't like that. Also, you can see that it is on the high point of the property. So the property actually slopes down this direction. And so willow likes to be at the low point of the property. In fact, they most likely, and you can see my my neighbors, tinacos, the water system here, they most likely like to be actually right at the edge of a pond. So this is where it was planted, and here's the pond, and never the two shall meet, right? However, I don't want to have to cut this down unless it dies completely. So what I did was use one of the very first principles of permaculture, which is to observe and interact. So you can see here on this rock that there's this natural waterway. And I mean, this has been formed probably from, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. I don't know how old this stone is. It's all volcanic rock here. But you can see here that, the water is going to come right down that inclusion in the stone, and it's going to hit right here. So I actually dug this out, and I kind of am starting to berm it up on this side. You have this like berm kind of wrapping around, and then I made, oh look, and here's our cat Fletcher, so you get to see exactly what I'm talking about. She's walking through the canal, so here's sort of a small basin. There's a canal, and then it comes around this way, to the side of the plant, and then everything rolls downhill from there. So let's look at it from this angle and see if I can show you a little bit better. But it's almost like this comma, if you will, like a comma, the shape of a piece of punctuation. And in any case, I'm starting to, put these rocks in here, and then I'm going to be pushing soil up to create a small berm. And then there's a little basin here as well. And so my goal with this is that hopefully when we have the wet season, which is June, July, and part of August, when that water rolls down this rock right here, it can either sit in that basin on top of the root system of this tree, or it can roll down here, but it will be prevented, or some of it will be prevented from rolling down the hill, and therefore we can retain more water on this. Now I can't put anything really on this side because we have to have the access for the driveway because it's pretty narrow here between the two trees. But this is a solution that I'm just kind of coming up with on the fly. After being a landscape designer for 12 years, I saw a lot of trees that were in the wrong place and causing a lot of havoc, whether that's planted too close to our house, and we have some of those, which I'll make a different video on. Or, in these kind of situations where that this tree does not have the right conditions to thrive. And so I'm doing the best I can to save it, to see if it's possible to extend it, to extend its lifespan. But we'll see what happens. And this is really an excellent point about what it's like when we're not planted in the right place, when we have maybe been somewhere for a very long time, we've grown, a nice thick trunk, and here we are, but we're suffering because a part of our environment, like the tree, the traffic going by, is not really going to be working for us. And so, it's sometimes we have to see, okay, can I come up with sort of a fix like this, you know, with the materials that I have available in my life? Or, excuse me, am I going to need to uproot myself and go somewhere else where it's much more suitable? And, you know, and you can see the shadow self of the tree, right? Here's the shadow self. And there's a disconnect between the groundedness right here and the shadow self right here. And so this is a metaphor for when we get into this space and we don't feel connected. We feel like, man, I really want to get out of here. I want to get out of here. And sometimes we have to. Sometimes we have to cut this down at the root and start fresh. Plant new seeds, plant a new, and sprout ourselves in a different location, a different environment, a different relationship, a different career, whatever that may be for you. I just want you to know, if you're feeling a little parched like this willow, and you can see it's supposed to be this beautiful draping willow. If you've ever seen these at the edge of a pond, they're absolutely amazing. They will have a different kind of shadow than this. They will be very much like dripping down, and you could take a nice blanket and lay under it and feel very protected by those branches that are coming down like a little fort. Or a sanctuary. But if you're not in that space, you're going to be kind of like cracked, and you're out of shape. You know, everything's going up instead of out. So I just wanted to share this little bit with you. If you're having trouble with a tree that has a high water requirement, you can create some kind of drainage containment system around it, so that wherever the water runs from, or you can hand water this. I could come with a hose and fill this up. And this is what we need to do in our own lives as well. We need to see, are we receiving all the nourishment and everything that we need? Or are we like this willow? We're just kind of feeling a little twiggy, a little like, I don't know if this is working for me. In which case we might just kind of clip this off right here, clip, and then we would perpetuate it somewhere else where it is made for the right conditions for the type of species that it is. And you are a species as well. I know we're all the human species, but you have your own characteristics, your own temperament, your own personality, your own way that your body intersects with the world. And all of these things are really important to make sure that you are in the right space, as opposed to a space like this where your roots and your foundation just keep getting stamped on over and over and over. So please be well, my friends. I love you. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling about this idea of the tree or yourself being in the wrong environment, and what's the next step for you. And I'll kind of keep you in touch with what's happening here to Willow. She's a beautiful soul, but just struggling and needs a little bit of TLC and nurturing. Be well. Bye-bye.